Alright, out of space. I'm so sorry that I've kind of like delayed the video a good amount, but really I am very busy this time. I'm in the fact that the developers released not only this but also Weekly Puzzle 9 is you know not ideal. Not ideal. I would say I hate them still. Not really actually. It's a joke, but I mean, they know it's a joke already. Like, there's no point of me saying that it's a joke, other than if you're hating me for me hating them. It's like kind of a joke thing. I've said this before already at some point. Oh my god, flashbang. But I hate them, but really, I really like their work even more than anything. So, let's start. Okay, let me turn this off. So, you are in a spaceship now. Why? I do not know. Lore is crazy right now. We are confused. So what do we do? Right now you see there are two TVs off. You will see that these like electronic boxes seem like they're kind of broken. Oh my god, yeah, but that's a bug, alright. So what do we do? This note tells us that hey, the electric boxes that power the TVs are tricky to reset, but in a nutshell, we want to keep the red lights covered while the green lights will remain uncovered. So first, let me actually, I want to fix this first, okay? Trust me. So basically you want to like slide and like try to like find a perfect position, but the solution for this, I'm just going to tell you the solution because it's just trial and error kind of, is that this remains the same. The pink arrows, you move it all the way to the left. Yep. And finally you move the blue so that this red light will be covered like this, and yep, that's it. This thing will turn on. You will see this thing turn on. It kind of like reveals itself. Now let's solve the other one. This one is a bit more tricky, maybe, I don't know, depends on you, but in a nutshell you just have to rotate it until like both are like this. You just have to rotate over here once. You want this part over here to be covering this red light over here, and finally you want to rotate this to cover the red light. Basically show you these three. Now I'm gonna pick up the gear later, okay? I know you guys are probably screaming at me for that, but for the sake of explanation, I'll take it later. Anyways, so actually, while I'm on that note, if you actually want to like see like a document of like my explanation, I actually do have a document covering every single escape room puzzle, every single room in Terminal Escape Room, except for the beginner ones, because I do not feel like doing the beginner ones. Really, they should be okay, they should be good enough, okay? But yeah, if you really want to check it out, if you don't understand what I'm saying in the video and maybe you have like some visual representation with like text that you can see, this document is for you. I'm gonna put it in the description of the video and the pinned comment. With that said, I'm gonna ignore these three for now. Let's handle the water system. The water system puzzle is very interesting because they kind of like have the key here. They have the key just to reset it every single time. They memorized it for you. Congratulations. But there's a slight problem. The slight problem being that we only see parts of it, and furthermore, there are like some rules over here that could tell us like how we reset it, but this part seems like it's gone, so we only have the top two rules. So firstly, let's just put all the lit buttons up so you can see clearly, and I'm not gonna use a digital whiteboard this time. I'm sorry guys, but instead you're gonna have to use a bit of visualization, or maybe actually, yeah, there's a part where you could probably look at my document and see what I put. So firstly, we know that these two buttons are unlit based on the note, so that means this has to go here to prevent breaking the second rule for vertically adjacent. Next, we also know that because this part is blocked and this part is like blocked because no adjacent lit buttons, this part is gone and this part is gone. This is like how do I say this? This is like sorry, this is unlit, and these two areas are also unlit because we see this one over here and this one is from the node. This is also from the node, making these two the only spots. Now, in order to not break the second rule of like adjacent lit buttons, we have to place one here which satisfies the two button columns. Now what do? Because we have this here, we now know that for this row over here, this is unlit, that's for sure. This is also unlit. These two are also unlit, making this button over here lit to satisfy two lit buttons in a row. Furthermore, this is unlit, this is unlit, this is unlit, and this button is also unlit because of the note that we got, meaning the final lit button for this row over here is this. Oh, I'm losing my throat. I probably should drink more water or something, I don't know. But anyways, now we are in a position where we know that this is unlit because of the column. We know that this is unlit because of the column and these two. This is also unlit because of this, making these three not that sure yet, you know. Now, in order to not break the second rule of adjacent lit buttons, this button must remain unlit. So that means that these two will be the lit buttons satisfying the two lit button columns, you know. Lastly, we have like this position, this position, this left, or something like that, I don't know. But in a nutshell, if we were to place a lit button over here, then we have to find another position to place a lit button, and as it turns out, we need one more lit button on the top row, but there's no valid place for us to put it because this is blocked, this is blocked, this is blocked, this is also blocked because there's already two buttons in this column, which means that these two are not the right positions and the remaining three are. So one here, and the final one is up there, giving us a panel. I'll pick that up later. Now, okay, this is the worst, this is like the most confusing puzzle I've seen from everyone. Not everyone, but most people so far. And I thought that people would get stuck because they don't know that the order goes from 1 to 5, left to right. But as it turns out, I think they probably are more confused with the note. So don't worry, I'm gonna explain it because that's what I do. So this note tells us that each of the three controls have a different order. And by the way, I'm gonna cover all three puzzles at the same time, kind of, and like categorize them as one because they are all the same concept. So anyways, we know that each of the controls have a different order, and we have to pay attention to the specific control we are calibrating, and the calibration itself always relies onto the planetary chart. So what do they mean? Let's start off with the asteroid defense control. Asteroid defense control, the first thing that pops up in our mind is asteroids, and like I said, or the note says, we have to always refer to the planetary chart most of the time. Now checking this, we know that those things are asteroids, this is planets, and this is rocket path, meaning that if you look over here, you actually realize that, hey, there are asteroids around each of the planets, and also, hey, each of the planets have a different number of asteroids ranging from 1 to 5. This is not a coincidence, because this means that you basically want to put in the order of the planets based on the number of asteroids they have from 1 to 5, you know. So we have Atreyu as the first, Tarini as the second, Sectiri as the third, Striatus as fourth, and the last one is Vecta. Now we know the order, right? From 1 to left, 1 to 5, left to right. Jesus, I need to take a break. But what do we put in? What is the calibration, right? Now, if you actually look at all of these, you realize that, hey, these are all green circles with lines, which kind of look like the planets. So what we want to do is basically based on the order of the planets that we already got based on the asteroids, we want to rotate the knob so that it kind of matches it. So for example, the first one is Atreyu with the horizontal lines, like this. The second one is Tarini with a vertical straight down, so we don't have to do anything. We have Sectiri as the third, which has this slight slants like this. Striatus is kind of same, but except it's a bit more vertical like this. And the last one is Vecta, which is just like this. So this will be the code, and you get a panel. The second one is the Pathfinder control. Pathfinder refers to the rocket path, because path, you know. And if you check the rocket path, you will realize the order is Atreyu, Sectiri, Tarini, Striatus, and Vecta. So what do we do? What do we put as the calibration? Well, if you notice, there are actually 5 lines and green circles that you could move up and down. Those green circles refer to the planets, and also we can see the 5 lines over here, you know, you can see, right? all the planets kind of align to each of them. So that means the order for the first one is Atreyu with the all the way at the bottom, so we don't have to do anything. The second one is Zactiri all the way at the top. Tarini is the one over here, that's the third planet we visit. Striatus is down here, and finally Vaktar is in the middle, giving us this panel over here. Last but not least, we have the habitability control, whatever you want to pronounce it. I do not know, pronounce whatever. So, looking at the planetary chart, we don't really see much about habitability, but we do see this analysis telling us that level 1 is Vaktar, level 2 is Zactiri, Tarini as 3, Striatus as 4, Atreyu as 5. This means that the order goes from Vaktari, Zactiri, Tarini, whatever. Vaktar, sorry, not Vaktar. I want to get this puzzle over with. I hate pronouncing the planets. So, what do we do as the calibration? If you notice, each of the circles, the green circles kind of thing, actually do like increase in size and decrease in size, which looks like each of the planets that we see here actually being the smallest, Vaktar being the biggest, the largest, I guess. So the first one is Vaktar with the largest. Next one is Zactiri with like, is it middle? No, I think it's second. It's the second smallest, I think. No? Sorry, third largest. It's the middle of the pack. This one is let's see, Tarini with the second largest. This is Striatus, which is second largest, and finally the last one is Atreyu, which is the smallest. Now we have all 4 panels. You know, all 4 panels. And what do we use the panels for? Well, if you actually look over here, it looks like they are missing something for this. And checking this by inspecting, you will see that you need 4 panel slots, 4 panel squares, something that like this, you know. And after that, you will see this. Now, this is actually more of like a rotating puzzle kind of thing, so it's just trial and error. I'm going to give you the answer right now. It should be something like this, if I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I already felt like I messed up like this. Yes. So then you will see this. The top part must say code. This is how you kind of solve it. It's like an indicator to you. And the bottom one will give you the 4-digit code for this keypad over here. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2783 being the code. So congratulations, you have unlocked the lounge. Now, inside the lounge you will see like wires that you can pick up, crowbar that you can pick up, and finally the cables that you can pick up. Now what do we do with all these? We could actually go all the way back here and firstly open the car door with the crowbar, because like we see, because if you inspect it, they say that there's a user manual inside, so you want to check on it. Now that we see this, like I'm going to explain the rules later, do not worry, but this reminds us of something like this. It looks similar, right? So now when we inspect it, we know that we could power up the other car's trunk control manual if you connect the jumper cables over, something like those cables that we got. And finally, we just need some wires so that we can control the sensors, and here we go, we are here now. So this is the hardest puzzle I would consider in the game for this room. Yeah, it's the hardest puzzle in this room, so not to worry, I'm gonna be kind of guiding you through this. The first thing to understand is that if you could place 1-inch wires like this, and like if the further it goes, it's basically 2-inch, and then 3-inch waist, that we have 30 inches total. See? Now, as you've seen from me placing the wires earlier, if you place it onto a row, it kind of like connects here like this. And if you were to like, let's say if I want to like light up this area, sure, I can light up this area, but because of the broken panels, it kind of like blocks off the connection to the other two here. So yeah, how do we solve this? Well, if you like did a little bit of like, if you know a little bit about electronics, it would be some sort of it's like parallel circuits, where basically you want to have one point where you could connect to each of the light bulbs. I'm gonna like put a picture up, I guess, just to explain, where technically if you have an area where you could have like the power source to like split up all of the electricity to each of the light bulbs to light them up, it's kind of the same thing. Like maybe like, I'll give you an example. So this is technically like what I'm talking about is like the power source, where you could split up one from here to here but another from up here to here. Now this creates another like power source area for the batteries, like parallel circuit. You know what, I'm just gonna call it a common point, because that's what I use. That's kind of like the easiest way. So the common point will be here for this right side, for one up here and another down here to connect the two. So this is like the common area where everyone take off the bus. Actually, you know what, I'll explain like this. So I know I'm a bit messy today with my explanation, I'm so sorry guys, but hey, this is why I have a document for you to check out. Yeah, I'm so sorry, but imagine this as the first bus station, right? Then you could go here as a common point and you could split off into two different areas, one to here and one to here. Now we would want another bus station on this side, but thankfully for us, this row over here kind of connects it over here. So that means that this area here has technically two bus stations to connect, one over here like this, and another one to connect over here with the help of this wire. So we can just use 2 inches. So it's kind of the same idea. This is how many wires, inches I guess, we have left. 13 inches of wires. So now let's like try to create another common point for the top part here, because we want to connect to this, right? And also this, and maybe this, maybe those two, who knows. So there are 2 ways to connect to over here. The first one, you just have a 2-inch wire and another 3-inch wire like this, so that you can connect over like this, and maybe even something like this. Now this is not efficient because it will use up too much wire, and the reason why is because I'm going to show you what's the alternative solution, which is actually the solution I'm going to explain. This is actually because this black wire is actually a bait. There is no reason, like there's no good reason on using this. Instead, we could use a 1-inch wire to create this row here, so that we connect it up here or wherever you want, like up here or down here, does not matter. Now you connect it over here and save 2 inches of wires, and you can just connect over here. Now you have 5 inches left. I mean, it saves more wires compared to the other one, because the other one you use like have 4 inches left, while this one is 5, so 1 more inch to work with. Now you could try connecting over like this, but that will take up too many wires. So instead, we want to create another common point for these two, so that you could connect one like this and one like this. And in fact, if you connect one over here and connect a 2-inch wire across like this, you'll be able to light up both of these negative charges, power charges, sources, whatever they call it, I don't know, and you will unlock the trunk. Now we can finally solve this zero gravity machine. What is this? Basically, when you inspect it, they basically say that the machine is broken. We need to find a way to repair it because there's a missing gear, you know. And this is, yeah, remember the gear I said about earlier? Yeah, this is the gear which you can pick up so that you could put it in. Now you put it in and you can fix the machine now, but you need to tighten the gear because, you know, it's kind of a bit loosey-goosey. So basically, remember the trunk? Well, inside the trunk there is a wrench, and the wrench basically helps us fix it, you know. And also, if you try using this, you need to fix this machine to try to fix it, and it doesn't look like we could do anything just yet. But that's because if you look at this note, they say that if you want to reset the zero gravity control box, you have to get all the 5 sliders to the top position. So great, you just have to move all of these up individually up, right? And then you just press and why is it doing this, you know? So as it turns out, each of the buttons are all wired to 2 of the sliders at the same time, which means that like instead of just moving just one normally, you just move 2. So you have to find the right balance of like find the right buttons to press, you know, kind of thing. Now the easiest way for me to explain how do you solve this is have at least one of the sliders on top and have 2 dedicated buttons, or like 2 sets of 2 sliders, such that they're at the same level for both of each of the sets, so that when you press the button, they both are at the same level and move up at the same time all the way to the top. So what do I mean? Well, this is where my solution is gonna happen. So firstly, I'm gonna actually press the yellow and blue button 2 times. This makes it so that I could set the red slider with the blue slider so that I could prepare to press this button like twice all the way up. However, this sacrificed the yellow slider being from the top position, and this is not a coincidence because I want the green slider to actually be on the top position. So what do? Instead of pressing the red and green button, because the red is already connected to blue, I will move up the orange and green by 1. So now we have 2 sets of 2 sliders and 1 all the way at the top, meaning that I can move these 2 up individually together with just this button over here. And finally, I just move the red and blue sliders up with this button over here, fixing the 0 gravity level. So if I pull this, then you will see that all of these rocks suddenly go up. But why do we do this? This is where we can finally solve this puzzle here, this pod, escape pod 4. Now, looking at this node, we see that this is actually a 2-factor code. That means that there are 2 codes that we have to put in. So firstly, the symbol display, which is right over here, this basically like puts you the encrypted symbol for the pod code. So to get the pods, we check which one we are going into. Pod 1 is deployed, so we are not using it. Same for 2 and 3, but pod 4 is available. I mean, we could see it, right? Like you can roughly see it, right? So we want to use pod 4, which is 1536, not for this area, but for the symbol wall. So 1536, we will see that this flashing thing kind of just stops into this position. Now, this position doesn't tell us anything until you realize that this basically tells us that of the code decryption from the symbols wall with the verticals. So that's why we wanted to lift all of these rocks up, is because each of them have their own encryption or decryption key, I guess. So let's start off with the first one over here, the vertical lines over here. You will see that the vertical lines on this, there is only these two vertical lines. So that means that if you just focus on the vertical lines, you will check, and you realize that only this one matches, which makes the first digit 5. Next, let's check out what is it? Is it the horizontal lines? It is. Okay, the horizontal lines. So let's check out the horizontal lines. We will see there are only 2 horizontal lines, I think. Yeah, 1 here, 1 here. So it's right here. So that means that we have to check this area, and we can check over here, check until you realize the second digit is a 0. Next, we want to check for the right, like the diagonal to the right. So you see there's one at the far corner, one at the far corner, and another one up here, like this. It crosses out through this entire thing. Doing so, we will basically check here and check until you realize that this matches up, making this a 7. And also the reason why we put all this together is because if I'm not wrong, I forgot where it is, my bad. I don't think there's this node anymore. Is there? Oh, right here, yes, right here. So basically this code decryption tells us what we have to do, you know. This is what I was saying earlier. So yeah, I'm so sorry. But final one, we have to check the right, this left slant like this. So we have 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So it's kind of like in the middle of the symbol wall kind of thing. And if you check this, you will realize that it is 8. So that means that the final code for escape pod 4 is 5078. Now you are not quite done yet, because you still have yet to, number 1, triangulate the position, number 2, navigate the safe route, and prepare for takeoff. So let's start with triangulating a position. Checking this, you will realize that there are 4 kind of like constellations thing, and checking over here, you will realize that we have to check the constellations, you know. So we see constellation 1 is here, 2, 3, 4, like this, and this is how we're gonna input the code to constellation 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now what do we do here? Well, if you actually, sorry, I just realized, yep. So if you actually notice, this is actually the ship we are in. This is the escape pod, so that means that we are here. And that means the calibration chamber is actually where we started off at, so we are here. Now, we know that the constellations are kind of like outside of through the windows. So if you check here, this is window 1. You see there are unique stars. Same for window 2, because this is where the constellation 2 is. We have this window here showing us constellation 3, and over here is, oh no, sorry, this is constellation 4. Now let's just see what constellations they are. I mean, they are all the stars are kind of like, they kind of told us what is the path of stars, but how do we know what the constellations are? This is where this poster comes into play. So the first one looks more like a Pisces, because like they have this circle and then like this kind of like down, right, horizontally across. So you see here, circle down, right, across. Over here, this is constellation 2 with with just 4 stars. So that means that it is an Aries. The third one here is like kind of a curve like this, like goes like down, curve up there like this. This makes it a Scorpio. And the final one is, let's see together, it is like this kind of like Om symbol kind of thing, like you see like it's a curve like this. That is actually the Libra constellation. So that means that the final code for the constellations are if I could get through, this would be Pisces. That's the first one. Yep, Pisces. If I did I skip through that? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, there. See? This is constellation 2, which is Aries. The third one over here is a Scorpio. And finally, the last one over here is a Libra. So we just put in Libra and there we go. This is done. Now step 2 is to navigate the safe route, and as it turns out, this is the final puzzle of the room, right? So what do we do? Basically, this poster tells us that we have to visit each of the meteors once, with the final ending path being the Earth. So if you were to program, whoa, you see this, right? So you can actually program the path all the way here. So for easier reference, I will just rotate it so you see like this. Now, I've kind of like demonstrated it like in the document already, but you know, the video is always easier, am I right? So the trick is to actually work backwards. Starting from the Earth, you connect to a point and see where is the dead end, you know? But not to worry, I'm just going to tell you the answer right now. Firstly, you want to go up here. The next one is here. You want to go here, and you do not go over here. I heard like a beeping sound, I don't know. But anyways, once you're here, you do not go here directly, but you want to cover this first so that you can go up here. You want to like kind of have a quick pit stop here. Next, you want to go down over here, and you do not go here, but you go here, and then you just go up so that you could have one whole round like this all the way back here, so that you could actually end it off by going to the Earth. And now that you do that, you could escape the room or beat chapter 1 season 2 part 2 whatever bullshit. You could beat it by closing the hatch and escape. Congratulations, you have beaten season 2 chapter 1 part 2 out of space.